proceed, and if Mr. Tolfree walks in, he'll, of course, join the meeting. First item of business would be our minutes of July the 8th, 2024, which you all have copies of. And there comes Mr. Tolfree. Show him present.
Yes, move that the minutes for July the 8th be approved and that the necessary adjustment as it relates to Southern York be taken by motion.
Second.
Okay? Is there a question or discussion? To make sure I understand, what about Bubba York, what did you want
Be
done?
taken by motion. The amendment be done by a motion.
Okay, okay. So you're gonna wanna act on that as we deal with the minutes. Okay, I got you. All right, that's an appropriate motion. Any question, discussion, or correction, we will deal with this one item after we approve the rest of the minutes. Thank you, Mr. Tolfree. If you pull that too, I appreciate it. Any other question or discussion on the motion? All in favor, show of hands, please, and I see 6 votes in favor, and that is unanimous and sufficient. Now, you want to make a motion on the item in the minutes?
Yes, I do. I move that the amount of $71.96 be waived for former employee Bubba York.
Okay.
$71.96.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all will find that on the current minutes that you just approved under the mayor's report, item 4. You will see it was incorrectly put down $17.99. That was the rate of pay, and it just got confused in putting down, so we want to correct that. If that motion's made, is there a second?
Second. How you?
Okay. Councilmember Mosley seconds. Everybody clear? Any question or discussion on that motion? That's just to make that accurate. All right, all those in favor, show of hands. I see 6 in favor. Thank y'all very much. Thank you, Councilmember Henderson. I appreciate that. All right, next item, we're taking care of the minutes. We've got the city clerk's report, starting with the financial report.
Okay, administration expenses, $245,279.27. For law enforcement, it's $1,249,736.01. Fire, it's $697,711.29. Sanitation, $606,440.99. Building codes, $15,023.50. District Board, $62,394.15. Municipal building, expenses for $9,523.22. Recreation, $172,500.29. Cultural Center, $8,834.44. Armory, $12,857.46. Shooting range was $29,548.69. Senior Citizen Center was $6,192.89. Other expenses were $10,671.20. Airport was $22,708.03. Economic development was $18,843.96. And street department was $394,074.37.
Council members, you've heard those. Of course, the figures she gave you were the January of 2024 through July 2024 expenditures by category, by department.
Move that we approve
second. Is there any question or discussion on any of the line items? Those were the totals. You've got all that information there in front of you. Any question or discussion? All those in favor of approval, show of hands, please. I see 6 votes in favor, which again is unanimous and in order, and, if I could just go ahead and you got your cash balances as they currently exist. There's a packet in there with that, and then you have our sales tax, revenue for the month, what we received in July, and you can see the city sales tax, we received $82,219.70. That is down 1% from the same time last year, 1%. And then on the county tax that we get a per capita portion of, it's also down 1%, $57,834.50. So we're holding decently steady, but it was down a little bit. Okay, any questions on any of that? And you got the district court as well, all their report, that dates you on what's been brought in there and so forth. Anybody got a question? Anything you wanna ask or comment on? All right, I'm gonna go straight to the mayor's report. Item number 1, under my report, we have a vacancy on the Fair Housing Commission. And I am nominating Ms. Sheila Jackson to a term on the Fair Housing Commission. I think she's excellently qualified to serve. That's my nomination.
I move.
How you must move through.
I move that Sheila Jackson be appointed to the Fair Housing Commission, and note that she would be an excellent choice.
Second.
And I got a second. Motion made, second to confirm her appointment. Is there any discussion, any question, anything about this appointment?
Excellent choice.
I think she's one of the more
Very qualified.
qualified people probably to serve in that position. Okay, all in favor of approval, show of hands, please. I see 6 in favor, so that's unanimous. You'll be notified. Item 2, and I'll try to be brief on this. Council members, you're pretty much up to date, but just so everybody knows what's going on. Of course, we've got 2 industrial prospects that we've been working on for quite some time, both desiring to put industrial facilities in the city industrial park out off of the 278 bypass. One of them's a company called Maxim Environmental. I'll get it right, like I said it backwards. Connecticut company that will, they have signed the contract to buy 2 lots of the industrial park where they will then install their facility. They have 90 days, basically from now, a little less than that now, to finish their environmental review of the property and make sure it's okay. And if they agree to it, then we close and they pay us and they start for the land and take ownership, start building their plant. The other one, of course, is it's a company now called Blue. Help me, somebody! I keep getting my names mixed up. Blue Carbon Alliance. The company out of Florida with partners out of Connecticut, putting in a proposed biochar facility. And, of course, they're working with the state to buy what I call the old poultry facility out there that's been empty. I think we are only days away from that being finalized, title, insurance, working things out with the previous owner of the property and the lease purchase agreement with ADFA. Those things are on course. This is just information, no action required by the council. Y'all already approved everything you've needed to in the past. This is going to create a number of new jobs out there, and hopefully in a very short period of time. Decent pay and decent benefits from everything I can learn from the companies at this point in time. So, good news on that. Yes, ma'am.
Did you finish?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just for the record, we may want to just go back and include the, city, taxes, the, city sales and use tax, as well as the district court.
I thought I mentioned those.
We didn't hear the down 1% and.
Yes,
Okay.
I said it, I'm sorry. Those are just reports anyway, but yes.
And this time of the year, we,
Excuse me.
Sorry, we're used to Janice doing it, but he did it.
oh, okay, all right. Well, this time of the year, we do, for whatever reason, it does go down.
Almost like clockwork.
Yeah.
Summer months are your lowest in sales tax revenue. But
And
not a drastic drop, but it's what happens.
It's normally between 1% and 2%, and then in some months, it goes up by 1% and 2%.
As far as the industrial prospects, let me make one other comment. Of course, everybody's aware of the shutting down, unfortunately, of the AHF Products facility. We did not know that was coming, but it did. They'll be shutting that down about the 27th of September. The state's dislocated workers task force, they do have a date set, and I can't remember what it is now, but they got a date set. There'll be information out about it, where the state and various agencies will come in, meet with all the employees that wish to, and see what they can do to help them with either schooling opportunities, other jobs, what have you, to try to, until, something better can come along for them, or whatever they want to do. I will tell you, the two companies that I just talked about are already starting to contact some of those people, to consider hiring them if they can meet their criteria, but won't replace all of them, but it'll replace some. Of course, I just want to say this publicly, I was hoping, as the council was, that we would be adding net jobs to the community with these two plants coming in. Well, now we're gonna lose some on one side and gain some on the other, and I'm very saddened about that, but that's the way it is. So we're certainly gonna go to work, trying to find any other company that hardwood flooring mill might be suitable for. It's a very nice plant, big plant. I have talked to the management in Pennsylvania, where the headquarters is for that company, making sure I knew what was going on. They're still holding out hope they might reopen it in the future, but they don't sound very encouraging, or that it would be in a very big hurry. So, I've told them I'm gonna be looking for somebody else, and they said, bring them to us if you find somebody. So that's kind of where we are, so. But there are some new jobs coming in, plus we're hearing from some of our other local employers. Almost every one of our manufacturing plants is looking for employees right now.
No doubt.
Right now, they're looking for. We're already working. I'm talking about PotlatchDeltic. I'm talking about Maxwell's Flooring. I'm talking about Warren Timbers and Randwood, and some of these different, they're smaller companies, but they're all looking for employees. So just pass that on. Yes, sir, Mr. Pilfrey.
Well, even though they're going out of business, I still want to show my appreciation for the bridge that they put up in the city park.
Yes.
That was an excellent job and workmanship on that bridge, and it'll be here for a while.
I agree with you. They were pretty good corporate citizens, but free enterprise system comes and goes sometimes. So
Even the playground equipment,
they did a lot of things to help us out
They've
there.
been a good partner.
And I hope something good will eventually come out of that. We'll be working with them to try to do so. But in the meantime, we've got the two that I think are gonna, barring something bad happening, gonna land. And of course, we still have a major prospect looking at the east side of town in our industrial site over there. That would be a major operation. And I'm still being told that the Intermodal Authority, just a few miles from here to the east, just on the other side of Wilmer, that there are major plants fixing to locate there. I'm talking about a couple hundred people conceivably. So, we got some things going from a job standpoint, hopefully, and hopefully more than we even know about right now. All right, let me keep going here. Taking care of Mr. York's waiver, that was item 3. Item 4, street closing, you've got a request in your package from the Chamber of Commerce. This deals with Cypress Street on both sides of Main, does not include Main. They want to do this on September 21st, from 8 a.m. to 3 for a market on Main, car, truck show, just an event that's being put on. But they do have to have permission from the council if they're gonna close those streets for any portion of time.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any question or discussion? This will just be between hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. on that day. Any question, discussion, all in favor? Show of hands, and I see 6 in favor. Thank you very much. All right, that takes care of that. Now, council members, do y'all have anybody you wish to recognize or so free? You had your hand up first, I think.
Okay, well, Mr. Jimmy Dominic, could you step down here for a minute? Mr. Jimmy Dominic is, with the Wolfpack, nonprofit here in Warren. They do a lot of things in the community, and they've been a real asset on this weekend. Also in the park, it was access on passing out backpacks, and they wanted to have a function on John C. Moss there at their premises, and they want permission to block it off, and they won't interfere with the neighbors on that part of the street because there's no neighbors until you get to the fourth side of the track. And I'll let you give them the date and the time.
Would you, for the record, tell everybody knows you, I think, tell everybody who you are and where you live and everything?
My name's Jimmy Dominic. I live over 504 York Street. I've been here for what, be 62 years. Next week, next Saturday, next
We're getting
Friday.
old, Jim.
Yeah. That's what I was wanting to talk about, closing that street, like you just said.
What time?
That he's gonna start probably about 7:30.
On what day?
24.
August 24th.
It says 7 a.m. to
Probably about 1.
7 a.m. to around 1 p.m. Okay.
And I would like to make a motion that we grant them the opportunity to close their street for their function.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any question or discussion? We will, of course, get with them if you approve this, make arrangements to make sure it's closed off properly and
Okay.
then reopen when you're through with it. All right. Any question or discussion on the motion? This is for activity there, and seems like a very appropriate thing to do to me, so. All right, all in favor, show of hands. 6 in favor.
And I also want to add, while I got this opportunity, do the things that we go through trying to clean the community up and the problems that we have to go through, and some of the people that come up here and story to us on the things they're going to do, and they drag out and drag out and drag out. I want to take this opportunity to commend Mr. Dominic that the work he's doing, not only on the street and in his property, on the whole block. If y'all get the opportunity to ride down through there and look how clean it is, and what a reflection that says on the city, to have somebody like him, not only involved in his residency, but involved in the community, in an organization like Wolfpack. I just want to thank you for doing everything you're doing. Appreciate it.
not just that street, but other streets that they sponsor
Yeah.
as well. When I walk in the morning time, I see them out picking up, so very commendable. Thank you so much.
And down the highway too.
Appreciate it.
All right.
We thank you.
And the Toys for Tots.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Dominic, appreciate that. We'll, again, that's August, what'd you say, 24th?
24.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be in the minutes, but I want to make sure I had it so I remember to do what we got to do, get ready to help you, so.
All right.
All right, thank you. Council members, and the rest of you, we got some people signed in, but anybody you want to
I
recognize,
want to
just,
recognize Miss Chanel Hooper. She would, one of the
Yes.
organizers for the back to school event that was this past Saturday?
I was there.
Wonderful.
Chanel, come up, please.
Yeah, and the others, yeah.
I couldn't have done this, I didn't know Arletta was coming, because Arletta, you come with me, because she was my co-person.
Okay, go, come on.
Step right up there. Officially introduce yourself anyway, please don't take it from good, so. You're okay.
Okay. I'm Chanel Hooper,
I'm Arletta Allen.
and I just want to thank the community. First of all, I just want to give honors to God. And I just want to thank Mayor for being supportive, along with the police department, Chief Sean and his police officers for doing coming out and showing such great support. We had such a great time August 10th, and we serviced probably over 250 kids, yes, with backpacks and school supplies that were needed, along with food. And we could not have done this without the community involved. So I just want to commend and I just want to thank everyone. You all had just spoken about the Wolfpack. They never turns me down. Anytime that I call on them, they always, what you need, when, and how. You know, even had stuff left over that they said, if you want to do something else, we're going to put this meat in the freezer and be ready for you next time. So, you know, I just want you all to know that we are trying to continue to, you know, serve the community, let the kids know that no matter where they come from, no matter what church they belong to, that we are all God's children. And we had such a great time. Didn't we, man? We
Yes,
had a
ma'am, we
great
did.
time. I mean, Jordan, we had a great
I
time.
wanna do it tomorrow.
I mean, we ate and we fellowship and we just had a good time. And just to see the kids just, you know, from all diversity, from all just, you know, race, whatever, they just all just had a great time. And we got such a great feedback from the people in the community saying, you know, such a great job and they look forward to it next year. And, you know, so I just want you all to know that August the 10th was just the other day, but it's been a long time coming for us. I appreciate her because she never say that she's not available, and I call her late at night, early in the morning, all during the time she's at work, you know, and she has been right there with me. But, you know, it takes a village, guys, it takes a village. And so I just want to just stand, and I appreciate this opportunity, Ms. Andrew, for you giving me this platform to be able to speak, and just let you all know that I really, really, really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
On behalf of St. James Family Church in Union Hill,
Mr. Toll-free.
Yeah, I just wanna add on it if I may.
Sure.
You know, we've talked about economic development, we talked about jobs being available, but it's one thing that you can drive around, especially the south part of the state. I remember when Arkansas City was one of the richest school districts in the state. They just had built all new buildings over there, had the best facilities that ever was. But when that school went down, the community went down. If you don't have a school in your community is going to fail. And it's gonna take everybody to do everything with the attack that we have on public schools now from our legislature. It's gonna take everybody to stand together and support and keep doing what's been working, which is our public schools.
Thank you, sir. And I'll just add this on quickly, like Chanel said, I was blessed to be able to be out there for a while. I think I counted 15, 16, 18 groups, you know,
Oh, yes,
tents.
yes,
I
sir.
may have missed somebody, but I tried to go around and
Yes,
visit with
sir.
everybody. Churches, civic groups, just a
Yes.
variety of
Whole
people.
place.
And people were working
yes.
hard out there and, you know, giving out school supplies and things like
Voter
that
registration.
to the kids, and it was a really good, made me feel good, and the good Lord smiled on us, because it's pretty good weather.
Yes.
And, so anyway, thank y'all again for everything,
You're welcome.
and we'll certainly keep in touch. All right,
Also,
now, any-
Alderman Atkins was there also.
Yeah, yes, she was, I'm sorry, I
What's
didn't
that
know.
up for?
She was there. She was there, and appreciated her. Everybody that, a lot of people I'm sure should help in a lot of different ways too.
Yeah.
so
Oh,
that's-
yes.
That's great. Council members, we still got a few people that signed up here, but is there anybody y'all need to recognize? I'll just go down the list if that's okay. Miss Mary Wiley? Yes, ma'am. Come right up and take the podium, and it's all yours.
My name is Mary White, and I live at 1116 on Kennedy Street. And I'm here because, we went to the planning commission meeting last month. Mr. White wants to have the southern side rezoned from residential to commercial property. Well, I don't want that. I've been living here since March the 4th of 78. And you know, he's kinda like a bully type person. He wanna do what he wanna do over there, bring all that junk over there, and feel like nobody shouldn't say nothing. Y'all should just ride down there and look and see how it look. We're in the city limits, and this man got sheep and goat over there. How is he doing that? He have sheep and goat, and we're in the city limits. We have to come out of our house and look at all this junk he got out there. It's not fair to us.
Could I ask Mr. Johnson, our building official who
Yes.
handles up, you should stay
Rob.
put. Rob, would you, I think this came before the planning commission.
Yes,
Can you just tell the council what the commission did?
they did not approve it.
So they said, do not approve.
Right, right.
All right, so at this point, that's where it is. There's no rezoning proposed.
But see, that's why Mr. White is up here. I guess
Okay,
he feel like we wasn't
okay.
gonna know about cause see, right after the meeting, he came to the sanitation people and told them that he wanted to meet with, city council.
Appeal the decision.
Yeah, that's
I
what
got
he's
you,
doing.
I got you, okay,
He wants to appeal.
okay, well, he'll get a chance to say something during
And
the
you know,
meeting.
it's feel like, you know,
Anything else you wanna say?
it's not fair to us. Y'all should just ride over through there and look. He got several different properties over there, and nothing but junk, and he studied all the junk every day. Y'all should just ride through there and look.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
All right, and I believe Mr. Wayne White is next on the list. Mr. White, you can come up and
Remember, that's my property, so she can go.
speak.
How y'all doing this evening? Now, to elaborate what you said.
Let's hang on just a minute now. Are you here to ask for the council to override the rezone
Yes, I'm
request?
asking for-
That's what you need to address right now, okay?
That's what I'm asking for, an appeal. And I'm not rezoning the southern side. I'm only rezoning the property behind my house. I don't care what these people do on their property. I'm just asking for an appeal to rezone that spot. That's it.
That's it. So that's your request to the city council,
Yes,
is to consider overriding
yes,
the vote of no from the planning commission.
yes.
Okay. All right, let's see who else wants to speak, and then we'll see what the council, they may wanna do this tonight, or they may wanna take it under some consideration, that's to be their call.
Okay.
Mrs. White, I believe you're listed here, do you wanna say something?
Sure.
Come right ahead. Right up there, tell who you are as well, I think most everybody probably knows you, but just for the record.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hashima White. I'd like to address the council, to the mayor, and to the city council here more. Just to elaborate a little bit more about what, Ms. Wiley is talking about. She said it's junk, it's commodities. All of that stuff that is on the back there of the yard, that is used also for Lumberjack Booster Club. It's also, when anytime the kids need anything, he takes care of that. See it warm, y'all know y'all need something, he takes care of that. Well, Mr. Toll-Free, when you needed a trailer, one of those trailers was there on that property, you needed for pizza maker, for a stage, that was used for that. Mayor, one night when you needed him, one of the representatives got stranded, they needed a tie, Ms. Reed was living, we had other property. We took care of that. Everything in this community that my husband does, that Miss Wiley is saying is junk, is commodities which is used. Yes, he is hauling, but he's hauling the stuff every day, going to recycle center.
Ms. White, if we could, I
Yes.
think right now, because they may have to hold a public hearing if they
Yes.
decide to consider this, so before we
Yes,
rehash all that, I think the best thing is you're also supportive of it being,
Exactly.
of the zoning being,
that spot there.
rezoned, that's what you're asking
Just
for.
that spot.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. 'Cause right now, we're not discussing a motion or anything to overturn the zoning or the decision by the planning commission not to rezone it. We just need to know what your purpose is here. Is it a Reverend Linda Strong? Do I have that right?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It is a blessing.
Speak up as good as you can so they can hear you. If you want to stay back there, it's all right. But if you come up here, that'd be better. Thank you.
I said good afternoon, but good evening. I am Reverend Strong. I just relocated back here from Beaumont, Texas, and it is a blessing to be back. Praise the Lord. I am Mr. White's mother.
Okay.
I've been on that southern side since I was 7 years old. Praise the Lord. I have sold the zoning closed off for it being in the commercial, I think it was. My mother had the old dewdrop in it.
That was before it was in the city limits.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I relocated back from Milwaukee here, and they was putting it into the city.
Probably in the seventies somewhere.
Yeah, something in the 70s.
So you're supportive of it, same thing is what you're telling
I'm
the council.
supporting
You'd
my
like
son.
them to consider that.
Yes, I'm supporting my son.
All right,
And
thank you, ma'am.
you all. And I pray God's blessings upon you.
Under, Mina, Amina, I'm sorry. Amina, I'm sorry. I see that now, I'm sorry. Tell them who you are and,
Hi, everybody. Good
Hi.
afternoon. I'm Amina Ali. I'm at 406 Turner Street,
yes, ma'am.
and I just relocated. And Greg, what I'm talking about is because where I come from, the city is lit up. I notice you guys have street lights. Like I have one on the corner of my house, and I still miss my driveway. So it's like, I'm like, can we put lighter bulbs in them? Can we clean them or do something? Because if you go all the way down to the other corner, like if you go on the main street, it's lit up. This street light is lit up. So right there on Central and Turner?
You're wanting more lighting.
Yes, please, because it's too dark. And another thing, I like to walk, and I notice how the grass is growing over the sidewalk. I've never seen it. In front of my house is fine. But as like you go like down about 5 houses, it's just full of, when I moved in, if you notice, my sidewalk was full of grass too. But I personally shoveled it up because I don't like people on my grass. So I personally shoveled it up. So now it's a walkway. So,
Let me briefly explain now, there may be something that we, if some sidewalks are on public right of way, some sidewalks are not on public right of way. For instance, my house where I live on kind of the other side of town, I got a sidewalk the entire width of my house, it's on my private property, it's my sidewalk. But now there are places where when these streets were laid out, sometime it was put within the within the public right of way. If it's on the public right of way, we can certainly do something about that. All you need to do is just call my office, give us the exact location of where you're talking about. We will look into it. If it is a public sidewalk on public right, we can do anything we need to do to it. Now, if it's on private property, then we're not supposed to do that.
so you mean some sidewalk is private?
Yes, ma'am. there's probably more private sidewalks than there are public sidewalks overall throughout town. But it depends on how they were originally laid out and subdivided and, you know, highways and some of the state highways, more of them probably have.
Okay, cause I noticed like on, it says Central is sidewalk all the way down.
Yeah.
But if you turn on Turner, you go like 5 passes by my house, and then it's all grass.
Been a hodgepodge of ways they were built and laid out over the last 100 years.
Okay.
But if you'll give us specifics of where you're talking about, we'll check that out and see what we can do, okay?
Thank you, because we really work on the street lights because.
Oh, yeah, we'll
at
check on
night,
that too.
It's like at the other end, you walk and it's like, you get your mind, I'm on the corner, and it's a street light, and I miss my driveway. So if we could just maintain.
We'll take a look at it. There's some rules on how far apart public street lights need to be.
If they just clean it up,
That may be
you know
what
what I
it
mean,
needs.
it's probably been years, but you could put a new bulb.
The power company's supposed to maintain those. We pay a fee for every street light in town, just for, by matter of fact, we pay $70,000 a year for street lights. Fixed fee for every public street light. Now, some people put their own up, you know.
I'm thinking about it,
And
but
so,
I mean, it's right.
which that could be done, but we'll check on it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for this.
Appreciate it. Let's see, Jimmy, I think I had you on here, but you've done,
Yeah,
you've done your things.
Yeah,
We're good
yeah.
there.
yeah, I'm good.
Willie Thomas? Willie Thomas.
Yes.
Come right on up here, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'd like to say good evening.
Give them your name and where you live. Just real quick,
My name is
please.
Willie Thomas. I live over there on Ward Street and more. I'd like to know, how can we get that part of the southern side back into the county?
I don't know. There may be some way to legally, I'm not sure how you do that. Of course, we done spent millions of dollars over there putting water and sewer in and what paving you have, because none of those streets were paved when you were in the county. So I don't think we're gonna look to, why do you wanna be out of the city?
Because there's too much stuff goes on in the city. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Everybody's trying to hurt everybody. You know they are, because it comes up here, and a lot of times they tell stuff that's not true.
You talking about like trying to get places cleaned up?
Yeah, well, not cleaned up, but changed around.
I don't know what you're talking about there, or changed around unless it's rezoning something.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Let's use that.
So if you go back to the county, there'll be no laws on that, and they do whatever they want to.
All right, let me ask you something.
You need to talk to an attorney, or go see the county judge,
That's what
and
I.
ask him if he would take y'all back in, so he'll be responsible for your streets and all that stuff, so.
But now you know, the southern side is really not getting the, really dudes over there. Because we, on that.
Mr. Thomas, I'm not gonna spend all night debating you, it's an old neighborhood that didn't even have dedicated public streets in there in the 1970s. Because I'm the one that got the streets, once you brought in the city, and the city got a huge grant from the federal government and paved, now, they're all narrow. They're all very narrow, we don't have right of way, and we can't go take people's right of way, and I know for one thing, we tried to get, this was a number of years ago, okay, I'm going back a ways here. We want to set up a system of one-way streets over there so that it'd be a little bit safer, a little bit more room, and the neighbor, nobody over there wanted that. At least very few people did. They shot us down. That was a long time ago. Might be some different opinions now, I don't know. But you wouldn't even have paved streets over there without the city of Warren. And of course, some of them probably need to be repaved and refixed. There was no water and sewer there, none. None at the time when we put all that in. And then of course you get Our fire department responds, and our police department responds, because you're a part of the city limits. You get out of the city, we're not sending no fire truck out there, and we're not sending no police car out there. Because City of Warren is a individual corporation within the county, and we don't provide services in the county. County would have to do all that for you. But I would suggest you talk to the county judge. See, there may be some legal way for y'all to get out. I'm sure we will sue for damages of everything we spent out there if that happens. I'm speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for the city council, but that's not something that you go and remove, change city limits, is that they can be expanded, but you don't have to start providing services. Quite a bit of money's been spent in that area over there as far as putting in water and sewer, and like I said, every street you got, every last one of them in that immediate neighborhood was paid by the city of Warren. That's a fact. Now, I'm sorry you're unhappy, but that's the rules. And I understand we've got some issues over there with the condition of some of the properties. And I know some people don't like that.
Can we find out what part of Boyd you live on? We know where Boyd is, but where are you?
What's your address over there, Mr. Thompson?
1120.
Okay.
It's right in the same area, close.
Right across from St. John.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking, that it was in that area, okay.
All right, we appreciate your opinions. Shirley Stewart. Charlene, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Come forward. I see that now. I'm gonna look a little closer. My apologies. Tell them who you are, please, and,
My name is Shirley Stewart, and I live at 1103 Deer Street. My property is adjacent to Mr. White's property, and I would like for him to have to clean his property up, tear down the old house, and clean up all that debris that's out there, whether you call it commodities or whatever. You can call it what you want. It's junk, and we shouldn't have to live like that.
thank you, ma'am. All right, council members, now, that's all I have on the list. Did I skip anybody that wanted to say anything? Now, council members, you got a request verbally from Mr. White. Does he have to make that request in writing by law, or it's just his verbal? I think his verbal request is sufficient on that. Council members, y'all can take that under advisement. You don't have to act on it tonight. What he is asking for you to do is to override the planning commission's decision. They had a public hearing, they went through all that process that is required by law, and their recommendation was not to rezone it because that's not, in their opinion, and I think the administration agrees with that because of, the narrow streets and just the neighborhood as it is, it's not a place for business of any kind, profit or non-profit. But that's y'all's call. And if you wanted to consider overriding it, you can, you can assign it to a committee, you can just think about it, take action at the next meeting, or you can do something tonight. It's your call. He's made the request. And if you want somebody to give an administrative recommendation, we back the planning commission's decision. But again, y'all have the legal authority to consider a request such as this. Anybody got a motion to tell me what you want to do, how you want to do it, or you want to take another month and consider it, or have a?
Would we have to have a public hearing in order to, we just really had one, didn't we?
Yes, ma'am, but use public hearings have to be advertised. I mean, before you technically have one. You could do that. I don't know that you're required to, by law. Maybe we don't have a lot of appeals, but I know they can appeal it to the city council. But, as far as having to have a public hearing, I don't think you got to. You can just, now, if you wish to hold one, you can.
We pretty much had one.
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we support, the findings and the direction by the, City of Warren Planning Commission.
Second.
All right, the motion is made and seconded to, in a second was Councilmember Adams, that we, the council uphold, confirm the decision of the planning commission not to rezone the property. That's the motion, which means it's done. Y'all vote to support that motion. Is there a question or discussion from the council? The question is, should that be, is it appropriate for that to be commercially used property? And that includes storage yards and all that kind of stuff is covered in the zoning laws. Anybody, any comment? I don't want to cut anybody off. Got anything they want to ask or say? Okay, all in favor of the motion to uphold the planning commission decision, show of hands, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is unanimous. So that closes the issue. Okay, thank you, council members. Thank everyone that spoke, and, that's the way it works. Planning commission makes recommendations. Had they wanted to rezone it, they would have had to adopt an ordinance to rezone it. But upholding planning commission's decision, there's no further action required. Okay? And I will, later on the agenda, there is a matter pending on the condition of the property as it now exists. That's on the agenda, but they had a right for the rezone request first. Okay? All right. If I skipped anything there, Mr. Johnson, have I skipped anything on the process? Okay. I got you. All right, let's go to our administrative standing committee reports. We'll try to go through these as quick as we can. Police Chief Sean Hilder. Chief, they've got your written report.
The mayor said you guys have a report for the, activities depicted at the, police department. The activities that we had for the July 2024. As you can see, we are down to 30 personnel staff right now. This is a medical issue, this is a retirement, things of that nature. But we are actively seeking, applicants and, trying to get civil service board meetings, things of that nature, to hopefully replace some of the dispatch positions that are patrol positions that we have open. All our equipment is still operational right now. This year, last year, this time, we had too many people and not enough cars. Now we got too many cars, not enough people. So
It's only to get your attention.
but glass half full, glass half full. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, I will get them pretty much outlined there for you. We are continuing to work traffic in certain areas as far as the speed and things of that nature. So we got some claims in them. That's what we have.
Let me say this to the council, but also to the public. We are actively seeking applicants for law enforcement officers. This is going on all over Arkansas. It's not just in Warren, I promise you. And it's a combination, we've lost a few retired, we've had some take other jobs, better paying jobs. It's always an issue, but it's just a variety of reasons. If you know anybody that's interested in law enforcement, of course, they have to go through quite a bit of evaluation and checking, and if they're not certified, they have to go to the police academy in Camden, which is a 13-week boot camp, basically, and as far as classroom training as well. We need police officers, and we are anxious for people that have a desire to be in that line of work. So please let us know. We'd be glad to take an application and get them looked at. Or somebody out of town that might be wanting, you might be wanting to come back here. It helps to have a law enforcement background, but you don't have to have one. we'll consider you, so. Anything else, chief? Questions for the chief? All right, thank you, chief. Let's, hang on a minute. Police committee, Councilmember Birch Frazier, we have had further conversation with the, municipal league and the 911 office that pays out the money to the local governments that run the 911 system. If I could just report this to you, because y'all haven't met since this
Sure.
all happened. You know, I was told originally that the law required the 911 system money to be paid in full to whatever entity is running the 911 system. It is county owned, but we run it, the city of Warren, and always have. That's the way it was set up, because we had the dispatch center. Now, I was told that by the municipal league, and then I got another change of position, as I seem to be getting a lot of these days, from some of these requests I make. 911 says, no, the city does not have a right to all that money. That's simply to be worked out with the county, that it goes to the county. And I got this in a Zoom meeting with the two, chief, you were there, you back up what I'm telling you. So that kind of throws us back to the starting gate. What I'm trying to find out now is what pot of money Bradley County's paying us out of, because they do by contract pay us, I think it's $72,000 a year. But that's not just for 911 now, that's for running the entire dispatch center, for the sheriff's office, for the city of Hermitage, answering rural fire department calls, all kinds of things. We are being vastly underpaid for the services we're performing and what it does to our dispatch crews. So I'm trying to find that out for sure. They could be paying that out of 911, but we're doing a lot more work than just 911 answer the phone. So we're gonna have to, at some point, go have to sit down with the county and see what we can work out. Because we are, let me put it this way, the taxpayers of Warren are considerably subsidizing, in my opinion, those services that are being provided, at least a great deal of the time. So we'll have to meet again,
Okay.
Madam Chair, but you got any comments, you're welcome to make them.
I don't,
Not trying to start a war with anybody, but this is a matter of fairness to our city taxpayers. We want to cooperate, but you know, nothing says that any of them can't have dispatch centers except money. So that's where we are. Fire chief, thank you, chief. There's no other questions. We'll move on. I'll try to hit my speed up here. Chief. Fire chief, Moore.
Good evening.
They got a written report.
Warren Fire Department, we responded to 11 calls during the month of July. We had one extrication call at the tone. Volunteer payroll for the month was $780. We had our regular monthly meeting and training on July 1st with 23 members present. And I didn't put it on here, it's July report, but we do have one guy at the fire academy getting his certification.
That's a full-time fireman.
Plans and Valley is over there right now for the next 10 weeks.
They have to go to the academy too, just like policemen do. Questions for the chief on any of what he's giving you there, or anything else that you want to ask? I want to remind the council, we do intend to start with the chief and the building department. We're going to be here in the next few months at least, hopefully when it's not quite as hot, we're going to start inspecting all these roofs on these downtown buildings to make sure that they're in order, because when the roofs start leaking, we start getting dangerous buildings again that hadn't been repaired, just like what we've been through. And that has been awful expensive to this city, having to deal with it. So, you know, the owners of the property are responsible for maintaining their property. Where it's not gonna fall in or be dangerous or something like that. That's not just commercial buildings, that's really any building, but we're particularly concerned about downtown where all the buildings are, up against each other, and one building affects another building. First thing you know, you got a whole block that's in trouble, and that's what's happened to us in the past. Okay. Anything else?
Might I ask?
Yes, ma'am.
Do those inspections, because I know normally you guys come around, go inside the building if you can.
Oh, yeah, we gonna do both.
Get with the property owners and
Sure.
go inside and look.
Yeah, especially the ones that we can't just walk in, we gonna
Right.
make contact with them.
Okay.
Yeah, but we got one up there, I mean, not four in it.
I understand.
That's.
Our main concern is something don't fall down or cave in, but we're still, the building codes need to be adhered to, but we try to be as reasonable as we can be on that, but safety, electrical, plumbing, that type of thing. Any other questions? Thank you, Chief. Mr. Holfree, you got anything you need to
Not just
ask
that.
the fire department? Whenever you do, let us know. Sanitation manager, Mr. Johnson, let's talk about our solid waste systems, what we're reporting on now, our garbage collection and disposal department.
Everything's running good as far as the regular trash pickup, Monday through, Friday. We have a full crew, including all, part-time help, and all CDL drivers. Want to report that, and, everybody's doing a good job.
Anybody have any questions just on any of the operations or anything with solid waste? The public comments are over with, I'm sorry, no more can be allowed at this meeting. Certainly talk to you in private if you need to ask us something later, be fine. Okay, council members, any
Have
questions?
you put the boom loader?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We picked up 38 loads of limbs and 31 houses of junk so far.
Council members, that may be one of the best things you've ever approved in the city's history. Maybe I'm stretching it a little bit.
22 hours doing the litter pickup?
Walk around picking up, yes, ma'am, and that's really kind of false because there was two guys that they got 22 hours of picking up, so it's not just one. Doesn't sound like much, but it is, you got two people out there. And we're picking up litter by hand every day, even right now. We just pick streets, we've got North Wright tomorrow and Johnson Street tomorrow, so.
So how did you get the, two vehicles moved?
Backed up with a record,
Really?
yanked them out there, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
It doesn't do that, then?
No, ma'am, doesn't do that.
Okay, anything else on solid waste? I am very pleased with the gravel truck. We are moving volumes of material. This is where people call in and say, I've got, some junk that needs to be picked up or reasonable sized limbs. We can get lots of that stuff in a hurry and move it out of there. And I think we've about called it, we've gotten pretty much behind on our pickup of the call-in material, but I think we catching up pretty rapidly.
We should be caught up this week.
And maybe we can stay that way now, because we're not having to do all of it by hand. So it's helping. All right, let's go to sanitation committee.
Nothing to report, we'll read about the cycle grant.
Yes, ma'am. We're getting ready to file that grant, and we want to, the committee to go over everything with us. Again, trying to expand our recycling program for two reasons. One, for the environment, and number two, maybe more important, saving money of our waste that we have to dispose of, which is the biggest cost of garbage collection is disposing of the waste. It is getting terribly expensive in these landfills. All right, let's go to building official. You got a report there, I think, on your permits issued and so forth. Everybody got that? Everybody see that? Anything you need to report there?
We got some work going on at on the county out here on Smith Road, they're building, and out here at the Human Development Center. Pretty good project at the Human Development Center. And then the county
We got a meeting today on the new business on Cedar.
Pizza.
Oh.
Right, yeah, so I went blank, Joe. I'm sorry. No, we do not. No, we do not.
They are moving dirt and putting signs up, I can say that much, but so we are gonna have a, what's that,
Simple signs.
simple signs, thank you. We had one time, but this is a new facility that's going in, just right down the street here from us. Any questions on the permits? You got anything? No, we got some condemnation list here to go. If you got any other property you need to update them on, we'll go over these.
He's actually here today.
All right, council members, it's okay, I'm gonna try to speed this up and give the condemned properties in the 1007 Phillip Street. That one is still pending. We are trying to work with the owner who has done some cleanup, but we still got some issues there. But we don't think we're ready yet to pull the plug on him until we have another conversation, see what else can be done. I'll just let me go through them, then if y'all got any questions or comments. Item B, 504 Rock Street. I have talked to some individuals that are gonna help that person there who is committed to cleaning the place up. And then they're gonna try to help him get some of the stuff out near the road, things that we can legally pick up. This is mainly just junk in the yard and his carport. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it needs cleaning up, but he's not opposing us on doing it. We're just trying to get him some help, and he's not really in a position to do a lot of it himself. 113 Cloquet Street. I feel like standing up and howling at the moon. That house is on the ground. It came down to that, and it's not all cleaned up yet, but y'all do something, please. I feel like about 100 pounds off my back. We got a hold, there were people illegally living in the house. One of them left and the other one wouldn't. We had to have the police out there to make sure nobody was in there when the owner tore it down. We didn't tear it down, the owner tore it down and is removing it. Going to clean the property. He's going to be so instructed that once he cleans it up, he's got to keep it mowed. He can't grow up into a jungle. And he'll be held liable if he don't. But that one's getting cleaned up, and we tried to make sure the folks that had been in there got everything out that was theirs that they wanted. And in fact, we went overboard, probably delayed us a little bit on getting it done. But it is on the ground and about to be hauled off and cleaned up. If I missed anything on that? Okay. Now, we got is that the right address on? No. Well, Cloquet Street, I'm sorry, okay. Now, D is number 7, Southern Court. That property we described to you before, you turn in Southern Court off of Pine, make the big circle, and it's the second house on the left after you make the turn. We've been involved notifying the owners. The owner actually lives in the nursing home, but he's got family. And they had told us they were going to try to clean the place up. It's a complete junkyard. It really is, front and back. And they even brought in a container out there, and nothing's happened. Well, maybe.
As of today, they put a few items that they were in last week also, the same items. The vehicles hadn't been removed or anything like that.
So we're just about where we've been. I would like to ask the council, we're still willing to work with them, but this saying I'm gonna do something and then you go a month and another month and another month and nothing happens, or not anything to amount to anything happens. We gotta deal with it or just let it be, one or the other. So I'm asking y'all to order it cleaned up. This is not something where the house has gotta be torn down, but clean it up. And if you'll do that, my intention is to file charges in district court and get a judge to order it done. We don't have to do that because of the nature of this one and how much is there. I think we need to get a court order. And we'll file it. Mr. Clayton will help me, I hope. and we'll file it and run it through, get a judge to order it, so everybody's not lining up hiring lawyers to sue us. Now, if it was just a minor thing, I wouldn't go through that, but I think in this one we need to. So that's my recommendation, but I do need a vote from the council.
Make a motion to the mayor proceed in getting the order from the court to clean up number 7 Southern Court.
I got Ms. Mosley, Councilmember Mosley seconded. Now, is there any question or discussion? I think y'all are familiar with this, so just, if you got a question, ask it. All in favor, show of hands. Six in favor. All right, item E is,
Mayor, excuse me, do I go forward with the automobile removal?
yes, sir, we can do that under our own ordinances, yes, after proper notification.
It's ready to go.
Okay, okay. Item E is 1110 Pinnister Street. I have the right address. It is. And this is, I think, Mr. White's property that was under discussion on the, some of it at least, on the rezoning. We have been progressing along with that, but of course, we didn't want to take any action until the rezoning matter was resolved. So, same proposal. If y'all will order according to law, the stuff that can be removed or cleaned up. We are not proposing to tear the house down or anything like that. We're just not. We don't think that's appropriate at this time. We would, once again, we would take this to court. Floor is open for a motion or anything you want to know.
Well, Mayor, have we made an effort with Mr. White to try to get him an opportunity to clean that up?
Can you address that, Mr. Johnson?
We sent Mr. White a letter, the time has ran out on it, but the reason that he hadn't been, anything been said to him is because we were waiting on the.
I've been cleaning
We
it
were
up.
waiting on this tonight.
Yeah, I haven't been cleaning it up.
And since he just not exhausted every avenue he had tonight, do we just work with him and see can he get it cleaned up?
Yes.
Okay?
If he's willing to do that, I'd be tickled to death personally, and I think everybody would be, the council. But, it can't go on and on, one way or the other, you gotta, all right? Is there objection to us working with him another month? Seeing what we can get done out there? Now, just for the record, that complaint came from neighbors. The
As long
city
as
didn't
there's
go
a
out there and just
timeframe.
pick it out, it came from neighbors in the neighborhood.
As long as he has a time frame, I don't see anything wrong with it.
All right, then what we're gonna do, unless y'all vote differently, I'm gonna give us a month to work with him, to see what can be done out there. And at the September city council meeting, if it's not sufficient, I'm bringing it back to you. I'm gonna expect or ask, please, to have a vote to do it. Is that all right with everybody? I'm not gonna ask you to vote on this, I'm just gonna pose it as a solution, and then we'll bring it back to you if we have to.
I move that, the property at 11110 Pinnister be given 30 days. Next council meeting, let the council, move forward with the next step. If it's not done.
All right, that motion's appropriate, is there a second?
Second.
Got a second. All right, any question or discussion? This will be a 30-day notice from basically tomorrow. And if that's not, not well on its way to getting cleaned up, it comes back here. And then y'all tell us what to do.
The motion didn't say well on the way, it just said clean cut.
Yes, ma'am, that's what it said. That was my words, not the motion's words, so cleaned up appropriately in accordance with the law. All right. Anybody got anything on that motion to say or ask? All in favor, show of hands, please. I see 6 in favor, thank you. All right, we will, I think that takes care, item F. We put this on the building official's office, and Mr. Johnson had asked me about us taking a look at maybe a little better regulation of the food truck industry that's gotten a lot larger than it used to be in the community. And of course, a lot of these food trucks are not necessarily hooked up to water and sewer. Some of them are. I guess the ones that are paying a garbage fee. Is that right, Mr. Johnson? If they're hooked onto it, or are they hooking onto somebody else's property?
Both.
We want to see how other communities are dealing. This has gotten to be a bigger issue than it used to be. Not trying to run any food trucks out of town or nothing like that, but quite frankly, they're not all paying taxes the way they're supposed to. Of course, they gotta meet health department requirements where they're cooking the food and that type of thing. And Rob, you wanna address what you're concerned about now?
Well, the brick and mortar restaurants I'm getting some complaints on it, and, I think other towns have got their rules and regulations on it. I just think we need to get a committee together and look and see at some of these options that, would make it more equal, on an equal playing field compared to a brick and mortar store trying to sell food for $5 and a food truck selling for $2. And along with that, the proof of sales tax being paid, so forth and so on. Now, we already govern them on the health department rules and the plumbing and electrical, we take care of all that already. But right now, they're just currently paying a previous license, is all they're buying from the city, which is $25, about
A year.
a year. And other towns throughout there, without getting into heavy discussion, are charging quarterly, and, $250 a quarter, so, you can get $1,000 a year on one food truck. And just to say, the other day, if we did that, we had about $4,000 in town Friday. That, that would make a brick and mortar store feel a little better, that the city, trying to make everybody kind of equal.
This is about solid waste disposal. It's about fairness. I've told Mr. Johnson, certainly there may be an appropriate amount to charge in some way. This is not about trying to raise revenue on my part. I just want y'all to look at what other cities are doing and look at the situation and, even like where they can be set up. And most of them are in commercial areas, but, every once in a while somebody. Now, this is not gonna affect events like, the Tomato Festival, when all people come in from all over the place for like a weekend. We're talking about people who've got permanent businesses. Just to make sure everything's being done fairly with them and the other businesses. I'd like to assign it to Community and Economic Development Committee. Now, if y'all got a different preference,
That's most appropriate.
without objection of anybody, we will point it to that committee to take a look at it, okay? Thank y'all. All right, Rob, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Street foreman, Mr. Hernsberger. There he is, he's hopping along tonight, but here he comes. Good evening.
As most of y'all know, we have a sweet street rent. It is working. It's gonna be a learning curve for everyone. We hadn't had one. We've got a guy hired. He never run one either, so we're working on it. We have the town divided up into 4 sections. So we're moving from section to section so that we get everybody, every street in town swept. If we hadn't made it to your house today, it's coming. We got lots of major projects going on. Drainage on Bradley Street, we're having to replace all of that. We had a culvert down on Cedar and Clingman, East Cedar and Clingman, collapse last weekend, but we got it back in working order. We had to replace the culvert, but we do have the road open at this time. We just been bush hogging. That takes a lot of time. Got the one tractor going at all time on it. So we patching potholes in our spare time. That's about it. Like I said, y'all just look at the job that this street sweeper's doing. It's doing an amazing job. Sure, we have problems, but we'll get them all worked out.
We think it's gonna make a major difference, and again, we will be working every street in town on a recurring basis. We don't know how long it's gonna take, because we hadn't done this yet, we gotta find out. And of course, there will be a few streets, and I'll just give you my best example, West Pine Street going out toward the southern. You know, it takes about 3 days for it to get about that deep in bark from the log trucks. And we're not trying to shut the log trucks down, but that's just, you know, we're gonna have to sweep that more regular than we do some other places. And there's some other streets that'll fit the same category. But we're gonna make sure we get every street. That's whether they got curb and gutter or whether they got open ditches. It doesn't matter. We're gonna try to sweep the streets. And we're gonna try to keep the ditches cleaned out of leaves and debris and that kind of stuff. This truck has a vacuum cleaner on it. A hose. Now, it takes 2 people to run that. Somebody's gotta go along and carry it. I mean, it's a big old thing, but to do that. But we're gonna try to do a better job with that as time goes on.
Also note that this is, the guy we have hired to drive it, this is a part-time position. So you're looking at 28 hours a week, so it's gonna take a time to get around, but we will get there. We're just trying to, I can't just turn him loose and let him work as many hours as he wants to. Then we'll be up here discussing overtime. So, but we will get to everyone and every street.
Questions or discussions for Mr. Hernsberger on anything? I think y'all know where he's talking about on the drainage issues. It's, Bradley Street's going up the hill from the hospital to the cemetery. That's been a major undertaking. We're talking about stuff that's old, where the culverts have, some of them concrete culverts, they've broken over a lot of issues. And then the one he's talking about is East Cedar, and then of course we're not totally through with the town branch down here either. We got some more stuff. At least we got the bleeding stopped. And these are major undertakings. I mean, big culverts, expensive. I've informed Mr. Hernsberger that if he keeps spending money the way he's been doing it the last few months, that I will be forced to try to let him work for free next year to make it up. He didn't seem to be very fond of that idea. That's a joke, everybody, in case anybody's wondering. But he's doing what he's got to do because they're dangerous if we don't fix them. Okay? All right, let's go to street committee. Chairman Mosley, you got a couple of items there.
We have, street paving bids been turned in. We had 2 bids. Cato Trucking Asphalt and Paving Company, $155 per ton for hot mix. And, chip and seal, which we're talking about on one street, Hazel Street, is $1.33 per square foot. Okay, Smackover Paving, price per ton for hot mix is $175.62. Price per square foot for chip and seal is $1.30. We met, and our recommendation, our motion would be to go with the lowest bid, which would be Cato Trucking. And we have used them in the past.
So that's to do both, the motion is to do the low bid, which overall is the low bid when you give them both the one street for chip and seal and the paving.
Correct.
That's a motion from the committee, a recommendation from the committee, moved by Councilmember Mosley.
Second.
And seconded by Councilmember Atkins. Question or discussion? This was bid out, publicly bid, both statewide and locally. All right, all in favor of the motion to approve Cato Trucking, show of hands, please. I see 6 in favor, thank you. Now you got another item there you want.
Okay, we had a request for,
from a place, and changed the name of Abernathy Street. For
It's in
now,
your packets.
yeah, okay, we have a letter from, the name is, the letter's from Norma Henderson Minton, which is the daughter of the late John and Alice Henderson. And they would like to rename the street to A.J. Henderson, or Henderson Street, or Alice Street. The committee, we need to table this for now. The committee needs to get together and make sure we have ground rules for renaming streets. So for now, we'd like to table that, possibly do something at the September
You
meeting.
wanna make a motion to table?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to table the,
Second.
street change. Second.
Motion's made and seconded, and this means you can bring it up whenever you want to in the future, by simply bringing it off the table by a vote, so.
Okay.
All right, motion is to table, not to approve or reject it, which is table it at this point. And I might just add, because I sat in on their meeting, one of the concerns about naming it Alice was we have another street, not spelled the same, but it's pronounced the same, Alice, A-L-I-S. Was some concern about that, and I think that's part of what they want to look at, so that can create some 911 issues possibly, but we can see what y'all can figure out. All right, motion's made, second table. You ready to vote? All in favor, show of hands. 6 in favor to table it. Thank you. All right, that gives us to item J, Community Economic Development Committee. You got several items on there, Councilmember Marshall. I'm just gonna let you go down them, and if you want me to give any kind of report that you may not have, feel free to tell me.
Okay. Let's see, Community Economic Development, we had a meeting on July the 23rd here in the chamber here, and in attendance was myself, Alderman Frazier, and Alderman Henderson, and then we had a guest, of course, Ms. Frazier was attendance as well. First thing that we talked about has been on our agenda for a while is the privacy fencing. And in your packet, we've got some information from the different other various cities, Jonesboro, Malvern. And what that is to look and see what the other cities are doing. So what we decided to do is to work with Rob, as far as the building code official, to go out and look at the different properties. So that Rob go out and look, and it'd be a case-by-case basis. So basically, 6 feet height is gonna be the restrictions. Once they go out and look at it, if they're already grandfathered in, then they're okay for right now. But as far as a permit, the main thing is let Rob go out and look at it before they start doing any work to put up a new fence. Okay, the next item, which is gonna be item 2, is the city property on Main Street. At our meeting, we discussed, and we were gonna be waiting on the report from the architect, to give us suggestions. Have you got that back?
I've talked to them.
Okay.
Told me I ought to have something in just a few days. Of course, that's what I was told previously,
Last
about
month,
a few
you were going
days.
to.
Now, this again is, everybody, this is the old Bryant furniture property that the city owns. But we had to tear that down too, because it was falling in. That's city property. And this is coming up with a plan of how we're gonna use or develop
Right.
that site.
Since it's been tore down.
I should have something for you. As soon as I do, I'll get it to the committee.
When did you talk with him?
Friday, I believe.
This past Friday? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Cultural Center updates. At our meeting, we talked about, and you were gonna get Ms. Hargrove to come in and look at the building. You're gonna give up some ideas and updates.
She has been here, took pictures, we talked at length, and, I'm sending, one of my staff people up there next week they got a grant workshop, and she's supposed to be trying to help us find grant money for the cultural center anyway, and we're gonna, hopefully we'll have some additional information to bring you.
Okay. Number 4, we've talked about this before, the depot kitchen and renovations. We know that the depot is rented out every weekend, isn't that right, Charlotte?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
all, this month is
Every
full.
weekend, and there's some safety concerns and things that we need to take care of. We also talked about, let's see, in our packet, we got information from Clements as far as what we plan on doing in case, you know, the patrons don't know, as far as putting in a warming kitchen. But before we do that, there are some concerns that we need to take care of as far as, some of the boards leading up into where you go to step on it, that, some things that need to be taken care of. And we also at our meeting discussed having the mayor and Rob get with the street department, to go and look and see what can they already go ahead and do? Instead of waiting for, you know, for him to come out, to set it up for bid, we need to go ahead and move on that and get that taken care of.
Okay, I don't remember what we talked about they could do as far as,
Go ahead.
Like replacing the boards on the platform that are rotten, where the doors.
oh, yeah, well,
little
of
small
course,
things
that's
like
part of the overall deal.
Right, but
We
we
probably
wanna
gotta
go,
replace that whole thing.
but we wanna go ahead and get bids on that and get it done because.
That's the specs he's working on right now.
Yeah, but we've been waiting for like 4 or 5 months. It just keeps getting worse and worse. So
Well,
if
we
we,
hadn't been waiting, it hadn't been that long since y'all authorized us to do the bid, but it's probably been a month or so. He came down here, I don't know, since the last meeting, he's been down here, and he's supposed to be putting us up together a set of specs for any carpenter type work, that's what you're talking about, to be done. Windows, you know, stuff like that, we still have a problem with windows being broken out, rocks being thrown at them, we're gonna put something tougher in there. And then he's gonna have some specs on the plumbing, and he's gonna have some specs on the electrical. So, but we'll take a look at what you said.
that's just.
And
what
I
we-
told him I need it right now, and I
Right,
think
because
I
we've
should
been
have
having
it
this since
shortly.
February seventh, as far as the specs and the plans on what we want to do there. So you're gonna,
I'm
some more information
I'm
on that?
expecting to have those, as soon as I get them, I'm gonna put them out for bid
Okay,
immediately. Y'all already authorized that.
so hopefully within 2 weeks, you think?
Better be.
Better be, okay. In
I
2
hope.
weeks, in 2 weeks. Okay, next thing on our item is item number 5, we talked about the old street shop, which is down by the park. Okay, the mayor had this, you had met with him, the architect, he came down.
Yes, well, this is the environmental,
The environmental.
company that
Well,
we
they
hired,
came,
you already
they got-
hired them, they've started.
Got the samples?
Well, not all that, we had to hire people to come in there and cut some deep, thick concrete out of the inside where they can scoop out the material. Everybody remembers that was a major repair shop for the Army National Guard for years, and so we had to do this environmental study and make sure it's suitable for public use before we can do anything else, with the building, so, I think Rob told me they were due back down here the 19th. What day is that, coming up here maybe Friday or?
Right, because it was July the 23rd when they came down.
Yeah,
That
they will come in and take all their samples and then get us a report back as quickly as possible. Hopefully that's gonna wrap us up and we'll know what we got and what we don't.
I got a question, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
About that, when you say, public usage, so if the,
Like for a gazebo or a place for people to have events, yeah.
this is like, if we had put another city department in there, then the same studies wouldn't have had to been done?
Not if it was a shop or something where you were using petroleum products and, nope, that's my understanding, no.
That's what I was just confused, like, if it's not good for one person, I don't see how it would be good for another
For the
person.
safety of the employees.
You know, that's what,
Well, I can't tell you that it might not require
Right.
something
Okay.
like that, I just don't know for sure.
I was
to be
just
honest
thinking
with
like
you,
that. Okay.
but I know it does to do what we're talking
Right,
about doing.
sure.
Okay,
Okay, so somewhere around the 19th is when you.
yes, ma'am, the 19th is the day he said they
He's
would
gonna
be
be
back.
back, okay. So after that, then we can set up a meeting, and go from there.
Did you say 19th of August?
Yes, ma'am.
19th, okay. item number 6. On Main Street, the downtown trees, you have the copy of this in your packet. I know our committee, met with Ms. Mary Beth Frazier was in attendance at our meeting. If
I
you
don't
drive-
think
Okay, just.
we've
our
got that
committee
in
has
there,
it.
I'm sorry, I don't think we do.
If you drive down Main Street in Warren, you see what it looks like with the trees, and it's been an issue with the sidewalks busted up and everything because years ago, the wrong trees was planted. So Ms. Mary Beth Frazier has been willing to work with us and got some bids from Bemis Tree Farm. And they're out of Little Rock, and this is for 30-gallon trees. The samples are gonna be a green vase, leucalia, spring snow, crabapple, green spire linden. Also, this will be a combination of with the elm, timber, and the bark, putting everything down, stump removal, and that total project will be $17,216. It doesn't seem like it, but 30 trees around the heart of Main Street to replace, or take up, and do all of that. This is something that has to be done in the fall of the year. This is a very reputable company, and this is a lot of areas that they specialize in. We talked about it on the meeting, now that school is back in, UAM's back into force here. Hopefully the mayor can get in touch with someone from UAM to kind of partner and train, maybe at the forestry department, to kind of help take care of the trees downtown. To get some ideas and ways, as far as someone who's going into forestry, maybe that can be some hours that that person can get to help working toward the trees as well. So that's another way that we're looking to vitalize our city and redoing and putting some new trees down. Any questions or comments?
Do y'all have any recommendation to make tonight as to what we do, or are you still in the research phase? I mean, as far as the type of trees or, that type of thing,
But didn't Mrs. Frazier suggest that we, find someone to take care of those trees prior to our?
Yeah, she suggested that we find somebody that's gonna maintain the trees before we even move forward to purchasing the tree. Because she said that, and what we came
Partnership.
was, there's no reason to spend $20,000 if we don't have anybody to take care of it.
That's true.
So we were looking for an arborer before
so
the,
are you looking for somebody to do this free?
well, that's what we talked, well, that's what we
Alderman
talked about.
Henderson's head's going like this very quickly.
Well, that's
I
what
was
we talked
gonna
about.
ask you, you're talking about the UAM, and I don't, we certainly can
I will
request.
get to-
I just know at UAM on campus, they go around and there's tags on every tree at UAM. And the forest department take their students and it's a learning by looking at all the different trees.
Will they do that for another entity?
Well, that's what
I don't
I'm
know.
hoping. I don't know. So we thought instead of just one of us calling, if we could send some type of formal letter.
On our letterhead.
I mean, all they can say is no.
Don't mind asking.
What about a Bradley County Master Gardener program?
They're not trees.
And the person that, did have the expertise did not want to take on the project.
So,
And $1,216 of that is tax. I wonder if we could be exempt somehow.
and then she also said that we could, look up, we could price the trees to see, but that's the one that she's gotten several big trees from. And they're guaranteed for a year, but they have to be taken care of. They can't just be planted and then,
Thank you.
Councilmember Marshall, if y'all would just maybe vote to instruct me to request what UAM might do for us, I think that would be appropriate, and then if y'all wanna hear about that first before we make a final decision on the, what trees to put in and that type of thing, that's just a suggestion, whatever y'all say to do. We do need to do something. We've cut most of them. Maybe all of them, maybe a few left. They're getting in bad shape,
So we'll make a motion for the mayor to seek, a partnership or draft a letter with UAM Forestry Department to work, to see if we can find someone to take care of the trees for us.
we may
Got a
even make a
motion.
donation to the forestry department.
Ma'am,
I said, we might even make a donation to the forestry department.
I suppose you could do that.
In
yes,
turn
ma'am.
for, I mean, we'll do it free, we'll go Miss Alderman Henderson's way first, and then we'll see.
It could be some in time.
Now, this suggestion of giving them money, you don't mean the mayor will have to give them some money.
Yeah,
You
sure,
mean
money
that's what,
you
that's,
could do it out
just
of
being
your
sure y'all not setting me up some way on this, so,
No, she was saying, I'm sure contractual agreement.
Like
Yes,
we did
ma'am,
with
I
the,
understand.
like we did with the criminal justice
I
department.
understand, I understand. All right, I think I have a motion, and did I get a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Burks Frazier, okay. This is simply to contact UAM right now and see what they'll do to help us. And then we'll have to come back and y'all have to decide exactly what you want to do. Question or discussion on the motion? I think it's appropriate to move forward with doing something here.
But that's something we've gotta do with the fall coming up, okay? The next thing.
Wait a minute, let's vote. All in favor, show of hands. I'm sorry, I was dragging. 6 in favor, thank you. Now go ahead.
Next, in item number 7, you have a copy in your packet. This is for the city flag selection. There are several that's in here, we kind of talked about and looked at each one. They're all really good designs, but I want to draw your attention to the second page.
One that says City of Warren,
The
Tall
City of
Pines.
Warren Tall
And
Pines,
that's the little star at the bottom.
Yeah.
yes, which is this one.
Mine does, I guess I'm
Yeah,
right.
So that's one of y'all's favorites, is
That's
what
one
you're
of our
saying?
favorites, yes.
And you
Let me
got
go back
any
to
more?
my copy that I got marked here. Okay, and if you would go over a few more pages. It's the one with the tomato in the middle, this sheet here. And I'll hold it up so you can see it.
So it says Tall Pines, Pink Tomatoes, got an axe on both sides.
Got an axe on both
Few
sides.
pine trees at the bottom and a big oak tomato.
Right, these are the two designs that we talked about, but on the first one, that actually is a pine tree in that design.
Yeah, those look like cedar trees.
Those
They sure
look like
do.
cedar trees, not a pine tree, okay? If you go to the next selection, this one here with the tall pines, tomato in the center,
Which one you looking at?
the second. This one.
Okay, well, okay, I got it.
In our copies here, we got the little asterisk at the bottom in the yellow, okay?
So are you wanting to approve something tonight or us to get
The
revised?
other, it's gonna be a revision, so we can make the other council members look at it as well. Except on this second one here, with the tomato, on that design, it needs to be enhanced or change the wording, because the way that it is in the center with the tomato, you really can't really see this. Especially with a flag and a flag waving, you wouldn't be able to see that.
And those are also cedar trees.
Also cedar trees.
Gotcha.
So those are the two designs that our committee,
So, you want us to go back, I think the, kids at the school designed this,
yes,
and if I could, if you
If
would,
they could go
agree
back
for
and
me to
make
go
those
back and
changes.
ask them to make some revisions based on what you
Right.
said,
oh,
making that easier to read and making sure we got the right kind of
got the
trees,
right type of trees.
on there clearly. And then we could bring those back, to y'all look at it. That's-
Any other suggestions or comments from the committee members?
You covered it.
Okay,
I don't think that requires a motion,
No,
that's what you want to do, we'll just get that done.
all right, that
All right.
concludes my report.
Thank you, thank
We
you.
got a lot.
All right, Ways and Means, Councilmember Henderson, Chairman.
Thank you. I would do item number 1, 2, and 3, and ask that you do 4 and 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Personnel policy review, still reviewing. We will have another meeting just to address the personnel policy and should be able within the next council meeting or thereafter, bring a recommendation to the full council for your approval. Number 2, rescue funds. Also, if you would just look at the cash balances, it will give you the rescue funds, which we have a balance right now of $500,391.80. And also wanted to just bring to your attention the committee Community and Economic Development Fund, $546,737.62. This is also would be a mid-year for us as it relates to our budget because it's dated, ending, 7/31, as well. Kind of nervous there, with those dollars. I mean, we really are gonna have to budget well. If we want to give the 2%, I mean, we don't have a lot of loose money. That's what I want you to have in mind. Number 3 is, and we did not have it in the budget, but we do it, each year. So I move that the City of Warren go into a contract for services with the South Arkansas Fair and Marketing Association in the amount of $2,500 for them to provide countywide business educational opportunities, agricultural expo, and all of the other things that they do to support not just the county but the city of Warren as well. And that's my motion.
Got a motion, second, Mr. Tollfree, any question or discussion? This would be by contract, provide $2,500 to the Fair Market Association. They put on the fair and everything. Yes, Mr. Tollfree.
I agree with Alderman Henderson because in the past, we've had conflicts with actually putting things into the budget when we don't even have the budget figured out. So if we handle these things on a case-by-case basis, I think it would be a smart thing on our part to be able to handle it, because if some arose we couldn't handle it, then we wouldn't be like we was already stuck to it. And we've already been doing this for them because they do a lot of things for the kids, the schools, and also,
Senior citizens.
yeah, senior citizens. You're right. And then advancing, this is an agricultural community, and it values us more than we want to claim.
Call for the vote.
All right, all in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor, any opposed?
And then to
Abstention, 1 abstention, Councilmember Mosley.
And just like
He has a conflict there with the association, so. Okay, it passes, so we'll take care of that, okay? All right, you want me to quickly get the other 2 things? You got 2 other things on the committee, of course, will be coming back. Still working on trying to purchase the new industrial property on the east side of town. Been working on that, trying to look at all of our different options. Of course, we originally thought we could just deal directly with Advent. That can't be done, and not exactly the way we planned to. You got a letter from the Friday law firm, basically explains what we can and can't do, and it does back up the fact that we can't do a 25-year deal with Advent to borrow the money to buy the property. But we do have the option of, as we've done some in the past, of contracting with the Grady County Economic Development Commission. We are proposing that we do that a little bit different than what we've done in the past. We would contract with the BC, they would in effect borrow the money, okay? Not until our contract is in place, but they would borrow the money. We're talking about, as y'all remember, it's just over $1 million. It's 25-year, 3% interest rate. Anybody find me a better deal than that, please come tell me. I went to all of our local banks, they laughed at me. And I'm not making that up to be critical of them. They said, you better take the deal, is what they said, if you want to get that kind of interest rate. And I think all support us doing this. But anyway, the deal would be we'd have a contract, and I've also got the Friday law firm, same folks that wrote this opinion letter, putting a contract together between the city and the BCEDC. The contract would basically cover 2 areas. The city making a payment monthly to BCEDC to pay the loan off, whatever the monthly cost is. Be exactly like what we talked about previously anyway. And then the other part of the contract would be, I guess you'd call it an ironclad. Really, it would be a lease agreement where the city in effect leases the property from BCEDC at the same price, no additional money. And that the land could not be utilized, sold, rented, leased, given away, anything for an industrial, this is an industrial park now, what we're talking about, for industrial purposes without the city council's approval. In other words, we would maintain control of the land as far as what's done with it. And the purpose of the whole deal is to get us an industrial park that we can start trying to bring more industry in. We've already got some people looking out that way, but nothing concrete. Of course, if we, these two things come through out of our current industrial park, we're out of land to do any further industrial recruiting. So that's the deal. What I believe the committee wants to do, if I understand correctly, is they want us to get this contract from Mr. Russell, who's the lead managing attorney for the Friday firm, bring that to the committee. If I say this wrong, you correct me, Councilman Anderson. Let them look at it, make sure it, to their belief, it meets what they want, what they believe. Also run it by the Arkansas Municipal League once that's done, or our city attorney too, but also the Arkansas Municipal League, just in case there's something there that they see that might need to be done. And once we get that done, bring it back to the full council. Is that right?
To the committee.
To the committee and then the full council. Now, we're gonna have to move on this relatively soon, or we're gonna be in trouble, so we're probably going to have some, fast meetings. I expect this contract this week. I expect a draft of the contract this week. So, ultimately, y'all gotta approve it. I mean, ultimately, you gotta approve whatever we come up with, but that's the general idea. Did I misstate anything there or lay that out wrong?
No, you did exhaust all other
Yes, ma'am.
avenues, and there was nothing else.
No, and this keeps control of it with the city, but even the partner that will help us with as the go-through to buy it legally, to meet the constitutional requirements, would be a local organization too.
Did the banks give you an idea what their interest rate would be?
Somewhere around 7-8%. You can get a flat 25-year rate for 3% interest. I had enough money, I'd buy it myself, but just, I don't, so. I'm just saying it's a good deal financially, is
So
what
all
I'm
three
saying.
banks is in the same interest rate category?
I didn't get proposals from them, I just talked to them, would they be, interested in loaning us money? Well, they'd consider it, none of them, said they'd look at it, but when I told them the deal with AFA, every one of them said, you don't need to be talking to us, you need to go through them.
That's not the word you used with me.
What did I say? I don't remember. They sort of giggled at me a little bit, but, when I said, well, could you do 3% or something like that? And my phone was talking back then. Okay, that's it basically, unless there's a question of anything. So item 5, you got this in your packet, the water department has had a rate study done by the Arkansas Rural Water Association, looking at what the needs are and the requirements are as far as revenue. I don't know when the last time any of the rates were touched. I really don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at that. It's been a little while at least, but they just want y'all to see this, and the committee wants the people that did the rate study to come to the September council meeting and explain what they did and why they came up with the numbers that they've got in there. What you've got there is proposed water and sewer rate increase for the city system. And my understanding is, when it was given me by the water and sewer manager, that those numbers were twice that, what you'll see in there, the increase, and the commission said, well, we just think that's too much regardless of what the needs are right now, but, so they cut it in half. That's just for your information, but this is the study that was done, and they will be, and we will, with your permission, I'll invite those folks to all be here next meeting and just give you a little bit more in depth as to where they come up with it and why. Okay, that's it.
That is my report, thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Reports and business, boards and commission, Parks and Rec. Kyle Wagner, our director. You got a written report in there, but what do you need to tell them?
Y'all pretty much covered all the big stuff at the depot and everywhere else. Old street shop.
You can see, Warren Sports Complex. It's in the best shape it's been in a long time. There's a lot of activities going on out there this year. Still available to use. Warren City Park. It's been a constant upkeep battle, but it's being well used. Train Depot, City Pool, now it's closed now, school's starting, West Side Pool. We're already getting it, trying to get it
Started
winterized, plus looking for some grant money. You know, we just kind of limped along this year because of the cost of what some things that need to be done to it. We got it legal, I mean, it was approved by the health department, but there's some stuff got to be done to that at some point, man. Some major things. The Armory, Jack Scobie, that's John Scobie, not Jack. I'm not gonna name it after him, that's his son. But anyways, John Scobie Drive Park, the tennis courts, the school, no, city owns all that, but, I think school's asking for some repairs to the court, which it needs. And I have suggested, since they have school tournaments out there and use it, that they ought to get some. And so that's what we're working on right now, to see what needs to be done. Warren Senior Citizens Center, of course, you know, we own that and have to basically upkeep it. And then the city rent house, that's the one over at the city park back behind the depot that came with the property when it was bought years ago. Cultural Center, we done talked about that, West Side baseball area, of course, it's not in the greatest of shape, but we're trying to get it cleaned up. You know, we got some backstops and some bleachers over there where people can use it to practice or have events. Axley Field, we don't own that, but the, grant the city got, put the new lights up over there, the concession stand. It is being used a good bit. Teams practicing, pee-wee teams. The Catholic Church and the Knights of Columbus had a big tournament over there Saturday. And inside of that place hadn't been used, and we got to go over and clean that thing up real good and make a few repairs. And they're wanting to use it some more. So we're trying to get people use that. So, questions on anything?
Are you still seeing individuals sleeping at the city park and the depot?
Yeah, we had some run off this morning, and we found some of their belongings they left. Just nasty stuff they leave behind, like at the end of the slides and stuff, like they dropped a sack full of pennies they had picked up, and some old needles and stuff, and we disposed of and stuff, and we run them off the gazebo in the triangle lot.
Cause I know there's a lot on Main Street, there's a backpack up there every day, so.
We've cleaned 2 loads here in the last few weeks at the concession stand over at Axel Field. They were sleeping in that corner.
Dangerous.
We are trying to take any issue we can find and go to the prosecuting attorney who told us under certain circumstances they would carry them to court to get a psychological evaluation. Because we believe most of them have issues. I'm not gonna say everybody, but most of them do. Because they don't volunteer to go get checked out. This is either for substance abuse and or mental illness. So they're gonna have to be court ordered. And of course, if they come back okay, we we've been told in no uncertain terms by the court, local judges, as well as the, police department and everybody else, and the prosecuting attorney's office, it is not illegal to be homeless, and we understand that. But most of these people need to be somewhere where they get some help, not squatting on people's private property, trespassing, but all those are criminal charges. All we do is issue them a ticket for that, and as I've said publicly, that's worthless. That's worthless. I mean, it's just not gonna accomplish anything, so we gotta figure out a better solution some way. We had one group, over on the Cherry Street area, Kyle, that we had the owner was filing had already given us a letter, a complaint, wanting removed from his property. He was cleaning his property up, by the way. There's an old mobile home on it, he tore it down. And when his wife showed up, the folks out there started crying and telling her they didn't have a place to go. And she took her letter back and said they can stay here. We have no legal way to make them move from that particular spot. Again, we're trying to find help for them, but it's an issue. They're wandering around all hours of the night, going through people's carports and yards, and then making junkyards out of some of these properties. So it's been a tough one to deal with, but we are trying. Any questions for Kyle on any of the recreation stuff? I don't want to keep talking, I'll keep preaching here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, okay, planning commission, they haven't met since the last meeting, I think, but anyway. Then you've got, aviation commission, they'll be meeting Thursday night, talk about the airport and things we're trying to do out there. You've got, the water and sewer commission's regular report, that includes their, June financial reports and minutes of their July 22nd meeting. That's right, okay. Then you've got a report on the cultural center. This is just a monthly, we still have the utilities and all on over there to keep the place insured and all that. It's all there for you. Housing authority, you got, do we have the housing authority? There are minutes in here of that?
Yes.
Okay, minutes of that. Again, the cultural center, I'm not going to get those backwards. Unfinished business, one thing that's remained on the calendar, because we're gonna have to get this done, we're gonna put a new roof on this building. I forget what our last estimate was, but it was something like $70,000, as I recall. Nothing's easy anymore, so we're trying to find some money that might help us do that. It's not pouring in on us at this point, but we're gonna have to fix it, or we're gonna have some problems in the near future, so we're working on looking for money. There's no new business that we were aware of.
I got one thing I forgot,
Okay.
on South Myrtle, right there, what used to be Temple's Trailer Park, they
Yes.
put a dumpster right there on the side of South Myrtle, and it's kinda edges right there in the street.
Solid waste dumpster?
Yes,
One of ours?
yes, and they was wondering, could they be moved back because it's an obstruction to see the traffic
Okay.
when they coming out of there. And then, also they wanted to revert back to when we was having the guy from Arkadelphia to clean that stuff up down through there. But they just got an assortment of different trailers and they working on things down there. See if we can't, get them to stand up to the last thing we asked them to, could they get a privacy fence for that area?
Okay, I'm not sure where you're talking about there, but we.
Temple Trailer Park, if you just go
Yeah, I know
down there.
that, but I'm not sure where the fence,
Well, they want the fence right there in front of the park. Along the street, yeah.
I think that'd have to be something the property owner would have to do. It's not required by any city ordinance that I'm aware of.
I just brought it up.
We'll look at it, sure, we'll check on it. Okay, we take care of that. We'll make a point of, write that down so I don't forget it.
I don't even think it has a name.
Was it Temple when you used to live?
Yeah.
I know where it is, so that's
Yeah.
okay. And there, okay. Gotcha. All right, thank you. For announcements, Labor Day is September the 2nd. Municipal building will be closed. That's one of our holidays. However, we will collect garbage. Sanitation workers ask if they could work because it keeps them from getting so far behind and provides a service. So we'll pick up garbage on the 2nd on Labor Day, but municipal building will be closed. Of course, the police and fire facility never closes. Then you got the bills for July 2024.
Make a motion to pay the bill.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second that the bill will be paid and submitted to you there. Any question or discussion of that motion? All in favor, show of hands. I see 6 in favor. Your meeting in September will be planned for the second Monday, September the 9th. The agenda meeting will be September the 5th to set the agenda at 7 a.m. Anybody got anything I forgot? I'm remembering that I can adjourn the meeting without a motion. We're adjourned. New rules, what did you say?
Good, stayed awake well?